Okay, so I'm recording not while driving. Thank the Lord. Okay, I know those poor people I've spared from my wrath. But instead I'm filming from inside of a convenience store parking lot. I had to return a car. It is currently like I think 11 o'clock at night. I cannot tell you how scary it is to drive inside of a rural, a low population Texas country town at night, because I feel like there's someone in the back of my seat about to stab me in the throat while I'm going 70 on a road I can't see shit on. There's this guy with like blue and white lights following me eerily. Okay, and he was my neighbor. So he followed me all the way to my fucking house, and I was like, "Dude, this is the Men in Black. They're going to kill me. They're going to extract the formula from my brain and use it to feed the aliens they have in Area 51." I was horrified, mortified, even. Like, I don't know. I like where I live. I like the sort of feeling of it. Though there's like no jobs, no one lives here. There's literally nothing to do. But I have like a good friend group, so it doesn't really matter. And everyone's sort of cars look kind of crusty. This guy's pulled in to get gas, and his car is like Towmater, but like a white Towmater. Is there a race in the Cars universe? Like, there's classism, because like that makes sense. I guess the racism would be fused with the classism, because like you're born into like higher echelon of vehicles. So I guess the racism and classism sort of like fused together. Cars world building is weird and out of pocket. But yeah, shit's scary here. That was a side tangent. Ignore the Cars race theory. Car race realism. There was a car holocaust. That is true. That did happen. Cars 2 confirmed it. I like Cars 2. Okay, I think the Cars trilogy would not be as good if it didn't have Cars 2. Yeah. But anyways, yeah, I'm fucking. That shit was scary. I could have swore like what's the thing that allows you to see behind you, the little fucking thingamabob that you can adjust to look behind you, the rear view mirror, is that what it's called? I could have swore someone moved across that, so I was like scared. Someone was just in the back of my seat, like on some like Scream type shit. Does that happen in Scream? I feel like that would be a very inefficient way to kill someone in a horror movie, because they would automatically swerve out the way and get you killed. And or let's say you survive the car wreck. People, unless you can get out of the vehicle, which is not confirmed, people are going to find out, like, oh, who stabbed this guy? Oh, the guy in the back seat wearing a Halloween costume with a bloody knife in his hand? I would assume that guy. Don't help him. Yeah. Anyways, that was almost me. Not the killer, but the guy who got stabbed in his throat and crashed his vehicle. Shit's scary, okay? I don't like driving at night. Actually, I do. It's the long, not Texas road is calling me. There's like less people on the road. It's more fun. Big cities are even more scary to drive in. Texas roads, like you might hit a deer, and you'll get a cool fresh red, coat of paint on your car. I drive my 8,000 pound truck, so when I hit deer, it turns to red mist. Shit. Everyone in Texas drives a truck. I don't. I drive a little shitty red car that costs $80. Yeah, but shit's scary at night. I feel like I'm about to be abducted by aliens, sacrificed to a crazy witch cult, or something else horrendous. Oh yeah, kidnapped and eaten alive by Wendigo. Yeah. I started working at Walmart. I know, I'm moving up in the world. I work at both Walmart and Whataburger. I know. Yeah, I know. Big bucks over here. But yeah, shit's scary. And yeah, I get off at 10 at Walmart, so yeah. The fuck is honking? Also, whenever I was driving, I could have swore I heard a car honk. And it was, the reason, you might say, oh, well, get better at driving. I mean, obviously. But what was so fucking scary about that was there was no car behind me. So I was like, is the fucking Batman behind me? Like, who's this asshole with no headlights creeping behind me? Is he in stealth mode? Like, that shit was so fucking, I mean, there was no one behind me. I guess I was just tweaking for no reason. That shit was horrifying. Like some dude wearing I'm gonna get Texas Chainsaw massacred. I'm in the state capital of chainsaw murders. Okay? Like, no other chainsaw murders happen in any other state but Texas. Or so the media has led me the fake news. I feel like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and the what was it called? The Harlem Witch Project? The Harlem Witch Projects, you know? But, like, well, I forget what it's called. This Salem? No, that's Salem. That's other. I feel like those were the first bit of fake news. I feel like, and now we have, like, ARGs, which are kind of lamer. If you can't show it to a grandma, and the grandma will be like, is this real? It's not as cool, in my opinion. Now it's into internet nerds, like, discussing things other internet nerds made. And it's like, that's cool and all, but, like, I just want to see a movie where a seemingly likable film student gets lost in some Minnesota woods and gets eaten alive by a boar. And you're like, oh, there was no killer. It was just pigs. Pigs got him and eated him. Because that can happen in Texas. If you don't get to your car fast enough, there's like a little, like, you know, warning, and then pigs eat you. Tragic. It really is. Like, being eaten alive by animals is because we live so far away from the city that, like, animals can just exist in the woods. And if you live near woods, you know what I'm talking about. That shit's scary. Like, especially if, like, I was, like, low on gas, and I was driving to a gas station to fill back up. I did not know whether or not I was going to make it. So, being stranded in the middle of a Texas road where there's no civilization, because, like, if you're stranded in New York or, like, a big city, it's like, okay, I just sleep in my fucking car. Who cares? There's a homeless guy over there. That's fine. I blend right in. Look, I haven't washed my clothes in eight months. Fit right in. But in Texas, you better get, like, a fucking bow and arrow and hunt some deer or some boar. Otherwise, they're going to hunt you. Shit is not cool. But a little side tangent. I'm kind of sick of medieval fucking fantasy stories. Like, you have all of human history to choose from, and you're choosing European medieval history. And, like, not even cool world building. Like, you don't... Like, you always stay in this one stupid-ass Europa continent. Like, why not go to the North Africa and do some, like, weird shit there? Why not do something interesting instead of the same sword and shield, like, D&D style shit? I get bored. Or be based instead of, like, World War I or World War II. That shit is never amiss. Okay, fantasy elements in, like, modern day, or specifically 1940s to 1890, is the coolest shit ever. Because, one, guns are coming, like, guns are not too overpowered yet, but they're kind of overpowered. So, like, they're, like, a major factor. And also, you have, like, secret societies that exist. Like, because I feel like what makes, like, stories like that so interesting is because a lot of modern history is about burying the misgivings of the past, right? Is misgivings a word? But, so, like, as an adult, navigating, like, the old world history you inhabit is some of the coolest shit ever. Like, oh, people used to get hung here. What was the racism? Well, I do live in Texas. You know what I mean? Any, like that shit, like, like, uncovering mysteries like that. Like, if ghosts were real, like, living in America would be a nightmare. That shit would be so fucking scary. Like, so I just think more fantasy, like, settings need to be set, like, post-World War II, or during World War I, or during World War II, even. Because the Nazis were, like, super cultish. Like, they're, like, a massive cult, led by, you know, the funny mustache model. Like, in World War I, it was, like, this new age of technology. It was, like, a world. It was the war to end all wars, you know what I mean? And I feel like the reason we know so much about medieval history, or the reason, like, the reason, like, average people know so much about it is because, like, of course we do. It's in so much media. How can we not know, like, broadswords, bastard swords, and, like, the name of all these fucking useless-ass swords? I want some badass, mainstream World War I and World War II fantasy. Like, straight, like, wizards and, like, fucking, like, gods and, like, fucking, like, elves, like, gassing the dwarves, or the dwarves gassing the elves. Like, that shit would be straight banger. Like, you cannot... I guess it'd be too close to home because we're still living under the, like, World War I. Oh, we don't deal with any of the effects of World War I. That shit's in the past. Israel was formed after World War I, my dude. And don't even start World War II. Like, the Nazis were, like, the most evil... Don't get me wrong. The Holocaust was bad, but we didn't know about that. The Nazis were still dickheads while fighting. Like, wasn't it Poland or Polish? They fucking destroyed the Poland. I forget. Polish. Man. They just fucking. They had this battle tank called the Blitzkrieg. Go in there. They're like fucking Al Qaeda. Like they bombed hospitals. They did not give a shit. The Nazis were the bad guys before we figured out about the Holocaust, and then we figured out the Holocaust. We're like, oh, these guys are the bad guys to end all bad guys. No one's trying to up what Hitler did. That shit was horrendous. That shit was straight downright awful. Like even now, like Hitler is a household name. And I'm not even saying that as a meme. He is like, and it's kind of tragic because like we know more about the guy who did it rather than his victims. I couldn't name like a single Jew who died in the Holocaust or a Jewish person, but I can name you the big guy, Hitler, and his sidekick Himmler. I'm not joking. He had a sidekick named Himmler. Okay, it's so fucking stupid. There's a Dr. Pepper in my fridge. World War II is probably one of the most well-documented wars in history because it's the most interesting one, and also there's like no like complexity to it. You know who the bad guys are. You know what sides everyone on. Like try to go into the Israel-Palestine conflict. There's so much like, and this happened because of this, but there's also social factors to encourage this and that. It's like, just tell me the facts. Like I don't need you to tell me who's right, who's wrong. Especially with Israel Palestine, I don't want someone to tell me, spoon feed me who's right and who's wrong in that conflict. Just tell me what the facts are, and no one does that. No one does that because it's an ongoing conflict. How could they? Everyone's biased, right? But anyways, World War II fantasy, go hard. Texas road, scary. Bye bye.